Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new Ninjago video here on the channel. My name is TannerFishies. In today's video, we are finally ready to review issue 3 or chapter 3 of the Garmadon solo comic series titled, appropriately enough, Garmadon. Like I said, chapter 3 is finally here after a pretty extensive delay. We were kind of waiting on this one for a while, but it's finally here. It's finally available on Amazon. That's where I bought my copy. And in today's video, I figured we could go through chapter 3 or issue 3, whatever you want to call it once again. And I would just like to give my quick thoughts on the Garmadon story's third chapter. How does this chapter compare to the previous ones, and do I think this story is still worth reading? You know, without getting too much into it right away, yes, I do think this storyline is definitely worth reading. So in terms of Garmadon issue 3, this storyline follows Garmadon continuing after issues 1 and 2, obviously enough. However, in this case, Garmadon is actually not the most interesting thing about this issue. I had no issue with the Garmadon characterization for this chapter. Let me just clarify that really quick. Garmadon is still as Garmadon-esque as ever, and his characterization is written very well, as I've mentioned. However, the best thing about this chapter for me comes in the form of the Sons of Garmadon themselves and the villain Lord Mogra. The Sons of Garmadon make an appearance in this chapter under the leadership of Lord Mogra, who of course is like the big bad of this entire series, and I loved seeing their characterization as well. Sons of Garmadon members such as Kilo and Ultraviolet express how frustrated they are with Garmadon in this comic and how they're pretty much mad at him following the events of March of the Oni, where Garmadon teamed up with the ninja, in their minds teaming up with the enemy. Ultraviolet and Kilo don't have a lot to do in this chapter, but I appreciated the amount of time that was given to flesh out their characters a little bit more. And also, speaking of Lord Mogra, yes, he's basically the new commander of the Sons of Garmadon, though he has rebranded them. We are finally seeing Lord Mogra come face to face with Garmadon during this chapter, and he is definitely a formidable opponent. He has a lot of powers and secrets up his sleeve, and he and Garmadon actually have a pretty visually spectacular fight in the middle of this village. This battle is probably one of the highlights of the chapter in my opinion. Garmadon powers up in his Oni form, Mogra powers up too, and hints that maybe there's more to him than it seems. I was pretty intrigued by this because it seems like there's some type of history going on there between Garmadon and Mogra, and I'm very curious to see what that ends up being. Garmadon makes it clear that he knows who Mogra is, not really in this current form, so I wonder who exactly this character is secretly and what the Garmadon comic is slowly building up to in terms of a reveal. Like I said, the battle itself between Garmadon and Mogra was a highlight of the chapter for me, but I also enjoyed the art. As usual, the art in these comics is fantastic, especially in volume 3 right here. The battle sequences in particular looked really good, and you could follow the action despite it being a comic. This is not a TV show, this is not a movie, this is a comic, but you could still follow along with the action as if you were right in the middle of it. And it takes a special type of talent to make that happen, so once again, big props to the artists working on this Garmadon comic. And like I said, in terms of characterization, it's great all around, especially with Garmadon, Mogra, and the Sons of Garmadon, surprisingly, more specifically Kilo and Ultraviolet. Overall, Garmadon issue 3 is a great continuation of this Garmadon series. I believe it opened the door for a lot of interesting things to come in the future, and I'm looking forward to seeing where the storyline continues from here. There's definitely going to be some interesting things going on in the future of the Garmadon comic series, and maybe even the Ninjago TV series if the comic decides to tie itself into the events of Ninjago crystallized, per se. I have no problems with Garmadon issue 3 or chapter 3. It still is a very fun time, and I do believe you guys should read this comic. Once again, the comic is very much important to the Ninjago TV series, and I would definitely recommend reading it if you guys have not done so just yet. And with that being said, guys, that'll pretty much wrap it up from my thoughts on issue 3 of the Garmadon solo comic. Leave all your thoughts down below in the comments if you guys have read this chapter just yet, but if you haven't, feel free to let me know what you think about the Garmadon comic. Are you excited to read more, and does this look interesting to you? Like I said, I would totally recommend it. With that being said, guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I will talk to you guys again in the next upload. Peace.